You know, maybe the best thing that came out of me leaving the Wayward Cave isn't that I don't have to act bored all the time anymore. No, the best thing to come out of it is that I don't have to deal with the constant onslaught of why you no gibble get anymore. Seriously, I already explained why I was not getting one, and still I had people begging me to catch one. What's wrong with you? Okay, well maybe it's not that bad, but it certainly gets annoying when you explain something just so that people wouldn't ask the same question anymore, and yet you still end up facing it. So, yeah, okay, I can definitely deal with having no more gibbles to fight for a while anyway. And, by the way, same thing for, is this a Torterra solo run? I've already explicitly mentioned and implied several times that it wasn't. You know what? From here on in, anyone who asks me that question is going to get the answer, yes, it is a Torterra solo run. And then, when I get a Vaporeon and a Togetic and they start fighting, they're going to be confused as all heck. That's what you get for not paying attention. Not that me making a solo run would make much sense to begin with, after all the times I mentioned the virtues and benefits of having a well-rounded team, but okay, that's enough whining for today. As you can see, while I was doing that, I got out of Mount Coronet. I told you we weren't going to be there for long, so now this is Route 208, which is a small route that leads to Hearthome City, which is the Sinnoh capital of contests. And if you remember, I did not like contests in Generation 3, and in fact, they made them even worse in Generation 4. Even those who liked contests in Generation 3 will generally admit that those in Generation 3 were better than in Generation 4. But overall, the Pokéathlon is still much better than any of those things, but whatever. The reason why Generation 4 just isn't as good when it comes to contests is because of the changes they made. Contests now have 3 phases. The first phase uses 2 different factors for scoring. First, it uses your Pokemon's score in any of its contest stats, like in Generation 3. However, the first phase is also known as the dress-up phase, where you use accessories to dress up your Pokemon and stuff, and also do other things to them, like, you know, have them hold balloons, or have your Turtwig wear a Turtwig mask, whatever. And yes, that means that the contest stats play even less of a role than in Generation 3. Well, I shouldn't say even less, because they were really important in Generation 3, and they are still important in Generation 4, simply because winning a Master Rank contest is impossible! I have never once done it in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, and there's no magical recipe to destroy everything in your path like there was in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. You'll recall that tutorial I made about Claydol owning contests to hell and back in Generation 3, but there's no such recipe in Generation 4, so you just have to get really, really lucky. And to make matters worse, in the dress-up phase, you're given a theme that you must respect. However, the themes all have really cryptic names, like the Created. What does the Created even mean? How are you supposed to know which accessories to equip based on the Created? Whatever, game designers. Now the second phase is probably the worst out of all of them, because this is the dancing part. Yeah, you're familiar with that if you ever tried the contests. It's just, basically, you just have to make your Pokemon do certain moves at very specific times by pressing buttons on the touchscreen, and it's rather hard to explain without doing it, so I'm not even gonna bother explaining it in detail, because just talking about it makes me want to puke. And guess what? Even the judging part where you appeal using your moves sucks now, because they added this whole, you know, there are 3 judges deal, and if all the contestants appeal to the same judge, then they're gonna leave less of an impression on the judge, whereas if you get lucky and you're the only one to appeal to a certain judge, then you're gonna get more points. Which means they added even more of a luck part to it. Now, can you understand why people preferred contests in Generation 3? It's worth noting that in this game they call them super contests. Well, to paraphrase the angry video game nerd, the only thing super about it is the name, because for the rest, it's just a piece of shit. Oh, and this billboard here actually gives some decent advice about watering berries, because the thing about watering berries is that when the soil has the color you're seeing right now, there's no need to water berries. But the soil is going to grow lighter and lighter in color as the hours pass, so you have to water them every few hours in order to get more berries in a shorter amount of time. You can get something, I think the highest I ever got was something like 15, but maybe my memory's faulty. Oh, and we got the Berry Master's house here, who is going to give you a rather wide variety of berries, definitely wider than that lady in Floroma. Oh, and now we got a guide about the different mulches you can use in this game. Yeah, mulches are a new addition to Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, but essentially they're fairly useless. They affect berry growth in all kinds of different things that you're reading about right now, and you pay $200 a piece for each mulch, so it's really not worth it. I'd much rather go the free way and just water them when necessary, not waste money on that, and instead use your hard-earned money on something a little bit more useful, like, you know, TMs at the Game Corner, although the Game Corner in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum is the easiest to get coins at in the entire series, so yeah, whatever. This guy here is the Berry Master, who gives you a berry every day, so you can come back here every day and get a certain berry. I think he only gives you, the Kelpsy berry, so I think this is the one that lowers your attack EVs and raises happiness. I wonder why they threw in the raising happiness thing, because obviously just lowering attack EVs can be very interesting if you know how to use that effect properly. And oh, okay, I remember this girl. She's gonna give me the map of Sinnoh where you can see where berries are. Well, berries you have seen, actually. Berry Searcher. So, yeah, this is... Well, I was about to say it's useful for hunting down runners, but that's not that app. There's another map. No, I'm not going to buy any mulch from you. Not interested. So, as I was about to say, there's another Poketch app that's, a map, except it's sort of a marking map. There are symbols that you can drag around the map, so if you want to remember, I gotta go there at some point. You can drag the symbol to that area, but that's another app entirely. This one just shows you where berries that you've planted are ready. Now, there was just one more thing that I wanted to bring up when it comes to contests, and actually it's our question of the day. Yeah, it's not like I have any intention of making this a recurring feature. It just so happens that I think I stumbled upon some fairly interesting subjects of discussion. So today's question of the day: what is the most annoying minigame in any game ever? As far as I'm concerned, I can just say two words: lightning dodging. You probably know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, consider yourself very, very lucky. Now I expect Final Fantasy X to come back a lot, whether it's for lightning dodging, shockable racing... wait, what? Oh, okay, it's the Odd Keystone. It wasn't for, a little underage action. Though, okay, I think I really should talk about the Odd Key. Oh, got a tiny mushroom here. Well, it pays to look at those empty patches in the tall grass. Tiny mushrooms can be used as currency in Fire Red and Leaf Green for the move relearner, but in the rest of the games it's hard scales. So, yeah, in other games than Fire Red and Leaf Green, you just sell them for some money, and that's about it. But, yeah, as I was saying... I'm expecting to have a lot of answers regarding, you know, the worst minigame ever when it comes to Final Fantasy X, whether it's the Chocobo racing, the lightning dodging, the butterfly catching, or Blitzball. Though actually I do enjoy Blitzball. It would be a lot more enjoyable if I wasn't a power freak and I could resist the temptation to use Brother as my midfielder, since it makes the game way too easy. And now we're about to enter Hearthome City. So you know what that means? We're going to explore another freaking huge city. And we're going... Oh, there's something going on. Oh, phew, it's a Buneary, but... Okay, I was afraid that Barry would ambush me here. I know there's supposed to be a Barry. Okay. Why didn't the Buneary just run around me then? Okay, well, whatever. I'm just going to try and not make too much sense of it, because it's just an invitation to come to the contest hall so she can give me something. Probably, no, I already have the accessory case. Anyway, this is the toll booth that leads to Route 212, but in Diamond and Pearl you could go straight to Route 212 from Hearthome the first time you came here. However, this time around in Platinum, those reporters are blocking the way because they want you to go to Veilstone before Pastoria. They want you to clear the loop, starting with Hearthome, then going to Solaceon, then Veilstone, and then you go to Lake Valor, then Pastoria, and you come back to Hearthome. So, yeah, as I was about to say, I knew there was a Barry fight in this city, though I think it's only at the eastern gate, that route that leads to Route 209, so I'm gonna try and avoid the eastern gate for as long as I can, because even though my Torterra is blatantly overleveled, there still are a few major threats to watch out for, namely his Saravia and Monferno. But fortunately, the gym here is a ghost gym, which is, of course, weak to my Torterra's bite. No thank you, I'm not ready to go to the contest hall. I'm going to go there when I am ready. Now, okay, we got a few people with baby strollers in Hearthome. I really fail to see the point because, as we know, in the Pokemon world, everything revolves around Pokemon. And those babies are some of the very few NPCs that don't say anything about Pokemon ever. Like, Papa! Mama! Has nothing to do with Pokemon. I guess it's a neat change of pace to, you know, make the world a little bit more realistic. But usually, whenever you talk to an NPC in a game, they're always talking to you about something that's relevant to the game instead of just some random banter. Nah, random banter is my specialty, because we got some new items for sale, I think. But yeah, nothing too interesting that we need right now. Though I did sink 2 repels back in the Wayward Cave, but doesn't mean I need to buy some to compensate. Okay, this place here is where you make Poffins for your Pokemon. Poffins are pretty much the same thing as Pokeblocks were in Generation 3. I don't know why they changed it, but the minigame is a little different, but the mechanics of, you know, feeding Poffins to your Pokemon, the stats of each Poffin, are the exact same thing as with Pokeblocks. The minigame, as I said, is different. It uses the touchscreen. Basically, there's an arrow that goes clockwise or counterclockwise, and what you have to do is that you have to stir the batter not too fast so that it spills, but not too slow so that it burns either. And the less you burn or spill your batter, the better your Poffin is going to be. So that's basically how the game works. You can look for a video of that on YouTube. There are quite a few of these. I'm just going to see info for the sake of completion, but I'm not going to make Poffins in this LP since I don't need to evolve a Feebas or anything. And as I said, I'm definitely not touching those contests with a 10-foot pole, especially not in the Master rank, which I just can't do it. It's the Pokemon equivalent of the perfect run from Super Mario Galaxy 2 for me. I can do the rest, no matter how tricky it may get, but that little final step, no, sorry, I can't do it. It's just impossible. So, well, I'm gonna stop here for today, and next time, we're gonna visit Hearthome some more and take our first step towards getting our third party member.